Plaintiff Hudson Salyer and his girlfriend Michelle say the defendants are Michelle's stepfather and half-brother. Hudson claims the defendants are drug addicts who smoke marijuana constantly. And he's suing them today because he claims they assaulted him at Michelle's daughter's birthday party. Defendants Randy Little and his son Josh deny that they're drug addicts, and they insist Hudson is a drug dealer who sells OxyContin. Randy claims the first time he ever met Hudson, he was on house arrest, and they insist Hudson initiated the fight by getting physical with Michelle's mother. They're countersuing for court costs and emotional distress.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you all.
I became to know the defendants through my girlfriend. This is her stepfather and her half-brother. Michelle and I started dating, and we moved in with one another shortly after. And we all lived in the same neighborhood together. As I came to live with her, you know, the more and more I got to know Randy and Josh and her family, things were okay at first. They started to get kindly bad. You know, the more I was around them, the more I started not to like what type of people they were.
What was that?
They are, they're drug addicts.
People. We were
they're
good
drug
people.
addicts.
No,
we
were good people.
They're always in our
whenever I met
business.
him, he just gotten out of jail and out of prison, had an ankle bracelet on. I mean, he was a drug dealer. He was in jail for dealing
So you
drugs.
say he was a dope fiend, and he said you were a jailbird.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, go ahead. So how did you come to determine or believe that they were dope fiends?
Well, you walk in their house, it's like walking into Smokey from Friday's place. There's marijuana smoke everywhere, you know? Yeah. I mean, right in front of their kids, you know what I'm saying? Josh is always walking up to our house trying to sell marijuana.
And if you walk into their house, you see plates of OxyContins, and he's taking my daughter's tips to go get pills for, so he can crush pills with and snort their pills, because she sits there and
that's a lie.
She calls me and tells me all the time I don't have money because my boyfriend takes my tip money.
He's never took my money for drugs.
Never. I supported her and her daughter with everything that I had. Yes, I
never worked a day in his life. Had a job.
I went to prison for drugs.
Whenever before something without a job.
In front of you right now.
He's just a bum.
You just said you a hard-working guy or something of that nature.
I did. I went to prison.
They say you don't have a job.
I do have a job.
Where do you work?
I'm employed. I work for John Prater. We do repossessed houses. We go in, we clean them up. Okay. I quit doing that to take school for 2 weeks to get my mining card.
Because his pills come involved.
He quit doing that job. He ain't never had no job.
He got his mining card. He had to pass the drug test to get a mining card.
Yeah. Anyway.
Let him finish.
Anyway, it's obvious we don't like each other. I stayed there for a little while and decided, you know what?
He's destroyed my daughter's life.
I decided that, you know what? I don't want to live in this area around these people anymore, and I left. Michelle and I both did.
2 blocks away. When was that?
They took my trailer that I bought.
I couldn't tell you what month in there. Last year, probably.
Around August.
Yeah, probably around August.
Fall of
09.
9, you moved.
That's correct.
All right. So, and you were saying something about they took the trailer?
I purchased my home from them, and they went and evicted me after it was paid off. There was a remaining balance of about $500 to $1,000 that I owed to my grandfather. And because it was transferred into his name from his name, they turned around and sold it underneath me and evicted me and put me and my 4-year-old daughter, which is their granddaughter, on the street with nowhere to go.
So they doubled their money.
I had bought and paid for, they took from me.
That's what type of people they are.
And I got
hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then what?
So we were kind of, I was staying with my grandparents. She was staying with friends of hers, but we were still together, connected. You know, we would stay together when and where we could, you know. Anyway, we decided to have she has a 4-year-old daughter. We decided to have a birthday party for her daughter at her place of business.
Now, is this when the incident occurred?
This is when the incident occurred.
All right, let me allow them to give me background before we get to the fight that caused you to sue for medical bills today. You all tell me your side.
Your Honor, when she first brought this gentleman to our place, she brought him there and he was on house arrest, and ankle bracelet and everything. And I let him come in. I never said a thing to him. I never got into their business. All of a sudden, him and her, they go off somewhere and they get into an argument, and he gets back rearrested and they revoke his probation. She moves in a bunch of other people into the trailer while he was in jail, while she was going to visit him. She moved a bunch of other people into the trailer.
What is it you want to show?
And this is just some of the damage that they did to the trailer. And at the time,
you brought yes, it does. You brought the issue of the trailer up. It wouldn't have anything to do with this trial had you not brought it up. But since you brought it up, they have an opportunity to discuss whatever they'd like regarding your activities with the trailer. And this is showing some of the destruction of the trailer.
I bought it and paid for it.
And the destruction, ma'am, you have the lot of
damage.
Yeah, a lot of damage.
Painted on the walls.
You've even damaged the Confederate flag. That's terrible.
Yeah. That's Mr. Salyers.
That's Mr.
Salyers there.
Why would you damage your Confederate flag?
They painted on the walls. I mean,
I had to evict you guys because you drug addicts.
There was straws all over the house.
They didn't have to damage your Confederate flag. I'm with you.
That's not my Confederate flag,
Oh, I'm
sir.
sorry, my fault.
Yes, it is.
Doesn't belong to me.
Oh,
He
yes,
just
it
said other people were living in the trailer. That's when this happened.
All right.
He's trying to make me look bad in front of you.
No.
Of course.
He does a good job of that all on his own, Your Honor. I'm not trying to do that. But anyways, back to the situation why we're here. And because, I mean, what happened was my daughter called me up on a Friday. She said, Randy, there's nobody going to be there for my daughter's birthday party. Me and Hudson got into an argument.
What happened with the fight?
The fight occurred, like I said, we were throwing a birthday party for her 4-year-old daughter. Now, this is also a place where Michelle works as a waitress. Well, I had decided to walk to the gas station across the street to get some things for the party. Well, while I had walked across the street, both the defendants and her mother had arrived at the party. Well, they walk in and they had a confrontation with her, which I'll let her explain to you because it's valuable.
We didn't have it. That's wrong. We didn't have a confrontation with him, Your Honor. When we walked in the day before, Your Honor, the day before the party, she called me.
Quiet, sir.
She called me and asked me, "Would you please come to the party?"
So you came to the party.
So I came to the party. I walked in. I asked Michelle. I said, "Is Hudson here?" She said, "Yeah, he is." Randy, don't start. And I said, "I'm not. I'm leaving." I turned around, Your Honor, walked out the restaurant,
Your Honor.
walked past him standing in front of the restaurant, got into my vehicle, sat down, started my car. At that time, my wife and my son and my 2 younger children were walking out of the restaurant. When my wife walked outside, she looked at the man and she said, "Don't be telling my daughter I don't love her no more." And he took and the way he's been abusing my daughter, he took his finger and he punched my wife in the chest, and my son did nothing but take up for his mother. He had no
Sir,
business.
you tell me what happened.
They walked in, they told Michelle, either he leaves or we're going to go. So she told them, if you all are going to be that way, you have to leave.
No.
So
Quiet, and then what?
So they're mad. So by this time, I walked back over to the restaurant and I'm finishing a cigarette outside the door. Randy walks out and not to my face, but mumbles something real smart underneath his breath and walks on. I pay him no attention whatsoever, let him go on about his business. Well, her mother and her brother, they both walk outside. Well, when Debbie walks outside, she stands directly in front of me and starts, verbally letting me have it. You know what I'm saying?
That don't give no right to put your hands on her.
World, And Josh is standing over here on the side. I'm not looking at him paying any attention. He's kind of laying over here in the weeds, So I said something
Laying in the weeds. He walked right out the door.
So I'm sitting here looking at her mom, and I cuss her back and tell her to leave me alone. Well, as soon as that happens, wham! Just out of nowhere from the side, I get drilled in the nose.
From the sun.
From the sun. Yeah,
the way it happened was, Your Honor.
Then he jumps on my back, and we end up in the parking lot. Well, when Randy sees the fight going on, he decides he's going to come over.
I'm the only person out of the restaurant. There's 50 people there. No one trying to break it up.
Right. So he comes over and he starts getting him a little sneaky punches in, kicking me in the head while I'm down, hitting me. You know what I'm saying? He ain't doing nothing straight up. He's sneaking them in, when he can get them. But they're connecting, He's getting them done or whatever.
The question is, who initiated the physical contact?
Oh,
he did.
Poking my mother in the chest.
The manager
Anyway, the manager of the restaurant, they see the fight going on, they call the police. So the police show up. I'd like to give you the police report.
They testified as to Who initiated the contact?
They did.
All right, and you all went to trial?
We did.
And what happened at trial?
They were taken to bench trial. They were both convicted of first degree assault. They're on probation.
How quiet? Why do you think you were convicted?
We were sitting in a room right across from him, and he told the prosecuting attorney right there in the Johnson County Courthouse that if you can't get this done, I got people that can. He goes, and I want it taken care of today.
That's a lie.
So we sit there and we went through a bench trial, and my daughter even called me a week ago, and I got statements here from people that's notarized where she called a week ago and she said that she's sorry that she lied in court and had her manager lie on us.
Show me a statement from the person who said they witnessed.
That's the manager of the
initiating it. Do you have a statement from that
no,
person
I don't, Your Honor.
retracting it?
Not from him.
Okay. Why do you think the manager would lie?
Because my daughter told me she asked him to.
No, I
She
didn't.
told me straight out on the telephone.
He's a Christian man.
Why would she tell you she asked the manager to lie? At what point? She told you this after the conviction?
After the conviction.
She called to what? Apologize?
She called to apologize. She said that she wished none of this had happened. She can't get away from him. Every time she tried, she was supposed to come over with us today in the courtroom. She said, I'll prove to you that I'm serious, Randy. And I got even statements there when she come over to our neighborhood and she was visiting with my niece. She told my niece she was there visiting with her and some other people that used to live in the trailer before Hudson.
That is a lie.
The manager says, sir, that he observed it.
There were some medical bills incurring to this incident.
How much?
And I would like to present those.
Your daughter says she never told you that she asked the manager to lie. In fact, he's the one that called dispatch.
Yes.
And said what he saw. He observed it. He immediately called dispatch and he told them what he observed. Your counterclaim $2,026 for emotional distress for what?
Well, because all the problems that I had to go through with it and the court costs and all my fees and everything, I didn't do nothing, Your Honor. I never touched the man. If I was going to fight with him, don't you think I would have fought with him when I walked out the restaurant?
One last witness. Come on, ma'am. What did you want to say?
I'd like to say that none of this would have happened if he didn't physically push me in my chest when I said, quit telling my daughter
that's why I got arrested.
Don't love her.
Do you all have any witnesses who observed that?
Well, not here with me.
A statement.
My son was here.
Was there one in court other than you all?
Yeah, we had witnesses in court.
An independent witness in court that said,
yes,
I saw him.
Yes.
People that wasn't
There's
at the
one right in
party.
front of you. She was never called as a witness.
This person was never involved in a trial.
Did this person give this to the court?
No.
This is after the trial.
Yes.
I can't rely on it then, man. Why wasn't that person around to stop you all from getting convicted? All right. So I do believe they injured you based on the conviction, although it doesn't automatically give you a judgment, because I could have looked at the evidence and determined differently, because this is a civil trial. This isn't a criminal appeal. But in this civil trial, I have looked at the evidence. So I'm going to believe the eyewitness, and I'm going to give the judge who heard this thoroughly the benefit of listening and making the correct judgment. And I'm going to dismiss you all's claim. You can't get emotional distress because you were convicted of the crime, and I believe you committed the crime. His medical bills were over $6,000, so I'll grant you the maximum of $5,000. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Things between my family and I will remain the same. They will have no contact with me or my daughter. They chose that.
And they just need to stay away from me. That's all I got to say. They don't need to come near me, because things are never going to be good between us. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm just disown her. I don't want nothing else to do with her. She's out of my life for good now. I mean, this was the last stand. She called me a couple nights ago saying that she was going to come on our side and get away from this abusive, because he just beats her on a daily basis. I mean, I don't know what to do no more. I'm done.